Okay, alright. Magandang araw sa inyo mga Buhay Pinoy TV. Mga kabayan, kumusta kayong lahat? Saan mang panig ng mundo? Magandang umaga, magandang tanghali, magandang hapon sa inyong lahat. Ngayon, panoorin natin at pakinggan itong usapan ng dalawang sinungaling. Isang mayabang at saka isang provoker. Ito, panoorin natin kung paano magsalita si Franz Castro, paano masukol ni Karen Davila si Franz Castro, at kung paano magsinungaling. Napakarami ng sinabi ni Franz Castro na talagang napakalayo sa katotohanan. Halatang halata talaga na nagsisinungaling. Ngayon, inaano niya kung bakit hindi pa tumatakbo itong kanilang ipinasang kaso sa kay BP Sara para mapa-impeach na. Panoorin natin itong buong detalye. Pero bago yan, kung bago ka pa lang dito sa ating channel, please like, share, and subscribe. At pakipindot na rin ang ating bell button para updated ka sa mga kwentong katulad nito.
Hearing the Vice President after her press conference, what are your thoughts on her statements?
Well, wala namang bago doon, Karen. We have heard already yung sinasabi niya about yung sa kaso niya that she will face, tapos yung pag-iwas niya doon sa mga kaso at pagharap doon sa NBI, and of course the impeachment complaints against her. So there's nothing new. So sinasabi niya lang na medyo kalmado siya, Karen. Kalmado siya ngayon doon sa kanyang press conference.
Okay, so there are two impeachment complaints filed against the Vice President, and there's a third looming in the horizon. I know that Congressman Adyong had a hearing the other day and actually exposed all these fake names, fake receipts, etc. What is the status of that third impeachment complaint?
We just heard that from one of our colleagues that a group of religious people would file on next week. No, so that's why Karen, the first two impeachment that were filed a few days ago ay hindi pa siya tinatransmit, no, or sinisend sa office of the speaker kasi naantay pa yung pangatlo.
Okay, but what you're trying to say is the third is already certain?
Yeah. So the third is already certain that would be submitted daw by next week. Kasi pag sinabit yung dalawa, without yung kapag wala pa yung pangatlo, baka ma-technical. So tatlo yung i-transmit sa speaker so that it would be transmitted to the Committee on Justice later on.
Okay, what do the House rules today? What does it state? Do all three impeachment complaints, after it's sent to the office of the Speaker, does it have to pass through the House Committee on Justice first before the plenary?
No, if the third complaint has already reached the required numbers of House of Representatives who would endorse the third impeachment complaint, well, yun na yung itatransmit. So if it is not, parang i-consolidate the three impeachment complaint.
Okay, and what is the required number of representatives to endorse?
So 1/3. So the Secretary General said it's at least 103 members of the House.
Okay, and that's just to endorse.
Yes. So
But what about...
So that parang na siya, no, Karen, it would be automatically endorsed to the Senate pag nakuha na po yung required number.
Okay, but what about the determination if these impeachment complaints are sufficient in form and in substance? Shouldn't the House Committee on Justice thresh that out first?
Well, kapag merong consolidation, Karen, so tignan natin, no, kasi the speaker, I don't know, the Secretary General have already scrutinize ng yung ano no, yung form. So it's up for the Justice Committee and the Rules no committee to find out its ano no, yung content po and substance.
Yes, but what essentially you're saying is you don't have to pass through the House Justice Committee, that it doesn't have to be heard.
Yes, so yun kasi yung ano no, yung yun ang guidelines and rules. So pag nakuha na yung 1/3 at
Oo,
least
but
pwede na siya.
who determines that the complaints are sufficient in substance if there is no hearing in the House Committee on Justice?
Well, titignan pa rin ng Committee on Justice no itong content and substance. Kapag nakita naman doon Karen na okay naman yan, ay immediately ay itatransmit na yan sa plenary and then to the Senate.
Okay. Now, I believe you just have 4 days left. Is that correct? You have 4 session days?
Yes, up to December 18.
So are you optimistic that this can be transmitted to the Senate within the 4 session days, or frankly, there's a lack of time?
Well, hindi kami masyadong optimistic, no? But I hope for the last 3 days ay matatransmit yan, and pwede naman Karen no, after Christmas no mag-convene the Justice Committee or the Congress para desisyonan yung transmittal nito sa Senado.
Okay. Now, during the time of former President Erap Estrada, the rules in the House were quite different. It was quite controversial then when Speaker Manny Villar essentially just called out to the plenary and asked representatives to vote yay or nay, right, for the impeachment complaint against then President Estrada. In fact, they didn't even take numbers on the floor right then. It was just whose scream was louder, and they took the numbers after, right? And it was transmitted to the Senate. Do the rules still allow that, or have the rules changed after the Erap Estrada impeachment complaint?
Well, hindi ko I didn't differentiate no kung ano yung rules sa ngayon, but I know if we have already that number, it can be transmitted na automatically to the Senate po. Parang yun ang rules natin ngayon.
Okay. Among the charges filed in the complaints, I've read them. What do you believe is the most damning against the Vice President?
Well, yung second complaint no Karen, yung betrayal of public trust. So, ito na yung ano no, parang catch-all na ground for an officer to be impeached. So, may tatlo no na nilagay doon yung second complaint about the use misspent the gross abuse of discretionary power over the confidential funds, which is 612.5 million. No, and the second, yung gross disregard of transparency and accountability. So, included dito, Karen, yung making mockery of the auditing process. No, in order niya yung kanyang mga SDO, mga tauhan no to submit no and prepare yung mga acknowledgement receipts na nakita naman natin sa committee na parang mga fake no. She also submitted yung mga liquidation na tingin natin ina-test niya po yon no, kaya nandoon sinubmit sa COA. And the third po yung ano no on this betrayal of public trust, the dereliction of official duty, yung parang willful refusal to recognize the congressional oversight function of the Congress. So tingin natin na to, isa lang ito, pwede na ito no na sufficient na for her to be impeached po. So
Okay.
yun yung nakita natin na pwede na po. Kasi
Alright.
isang ground.
And one of the possible offenses, as mentioned by I think one of the representatives, is plunder for as the allegedly anomalous confidential expenditures totaled 612 million from 2022 to 2023. But do you believe there's enough evidence of plunder, which would essentially constitute to her enriching herself? Is there enough evidence for that?
I think, yes, Karen, based on the submitted documents and mga receipts to the COA. So, kasi 50 million lang, no, pwede na siya ma-file ng case for plunder. So, I think we have enough evidence for that.
All right. Now, if you're seeing after Christmas, this could be transmitted to the Senate. Is there a proactive move right now to gather the 103 to 106 signatures?
Well, kami, Karen, we are gathering signatures. No, meron namang nagsabi sa amin, no, especially sa mga minority. But we are still wait and see for the third impeachment complaint na kapag meron na silang enough number ay nakita naman natin yung substance, no, and form, nakita natin we could join the majority.
All right. Anything you'd like to add, ma'am?
Well, sa ating pong mga kababayan, no, so impeachment is the most democratic and constitutional way to account airing highest officials of the land, at ito po ay dapat nating mas baybayan at makita po natin na dapat na panagutin yung official of the land kung nagkamali po siya, at magiging lesson po ito sa mga susunod na mga officials po na dapat ay accounted for yung pondo na ibibigay sa ating mga opisyal ng gobyerno, dahil ito po ay taxpayers' money na dapat nating pangalagaan.
Okay. Now, before you go, there's also an ethics complaint that has been filed against you by an indigenous peoples group. This group says that you should be removed from your House seat because of a lower court conviction on endangering minors. So let's discuss this a bit. What's your plan of action with this? And first, why don't you explain why you were convicted by the lower court?
Well, Karen, the case is other forms of child abuse. So, sama ka nga, sabing gano'n sa korte, endangering the lives of the minor, na pinalakad daw namin for how many hours, no, doon sa masukol na mga daan. Pero the court, di yata niya nakita, no, bakit naglakad ng ganon yung mga bata, no? They are asking for a rescue that night, Karen, na kami naman sumalubong kami, no, doon sa tawag ng mga teachers dahil they are at the bricks of death. They were the schools were closed, and then pinalayas yung mga estudyante at saka ng mga teachers. That's supposed to be a school dormitory for other students po na nasa malayong lugar. So, yun po yung nangyari doon. Nakita yung pag-endanger daw namin, pero hindi nakita yata ng lower court bakit sila napalayas doon sa lugar at sino yung nagpalayas at nag-cause lalo ng endanger sa ating mga estudyante. So,
Okay.
parang yun yung summary noong decision. So kami daw ay nag-conspire with the teachers, no, na gawin yon, conspiracy daw. So yun, so originally 17 yon yung nasa case, 4 were acquitted, yung mga pastor. Tapos kami ni Casatur, the teachers and other volunteers were convicted.
Okay, but did you, since what you're saying, the motivation was essentially to assist and rescue, right? The
Yes,
students. Why did you report it to the police?
Yung pag-rescue po ay alam niyo po yung mga teachers before the incident nag-report na sila, nagpa-blatter na sila, pero walang ginawa yung mga police doon sa lugar. No, in fact nga po yung mga sinubmit nilang mga complaints ay hindi talaga inaksyonan. So yun yung sinabi ng mga teachers and administrator. So wala na parang that's already in an emergency situation. So mukhang hindi na yun nagawa, Karen.
Okay, because based on the complaint, it doesn't seem like it was a rescue mission on your end. The charges against you are trafficking because allegedly you were a part of it's allegedly holding minors during their solidarity mission. So there was a solidarity mission conducted in the camp, and the accusation against you is you trafficked them and held them.
There's no case of child trafficking and kidnapping, Karen. Child abuse lang po. Yung trafficking ay tinanggal yan ng prosecutor sa prosecutor's office pa lang. The Save Our Schools movement conducted a national solidarity mission where Casatur and I and other volunteers were invited. No, because a month before that, there were food blockade, tinaharang po yung mga supplies na dinadala po doon sa school. Kaya po yung school with the executive director tumawag po ng tulong sa amin sa national para kausapin yung ating. In fact, that a day before or on the daytime nakausap namin yung DSWD, yung Department of Education, we went to the LGU pero hindi namin nakita si Governor. So yun po, nag-courtesy call kami at nagpunta kami at para sabihin bakit kami nandoon. At wala kaming intensyon to kidnap, to traffic, or to abuse the children. No? Na kinabukasan dapat kasama pa nga yung DepEd doon sa Solidarity Mission. But a night before that, nangyari na yung emergency situation. And
but if that was your intention, why would the Atamanobo Tribal Council of Elders see this otherwise? Because those that filed the complaint against you were the elders of the very tribe that you claim to have tried to rescue. Why would they misinterpret it?
No, ang nirescue namin doon, Karen, are the students that are not in that place. Yung mga estudyante that are studying on that place remained in the community. Kasi ito ay dormitory school. May mga ibang may mga katutubo po na nanggaling pa sa far flung areas na hindi naman po talaingod. So yun po yung nirescue namin. At yung mga elders sa Talaingod na nag-complain, so doon sila. So we don't know, Karen, so nakita naman natin na tingin natin ay they were just used noong mga individual tao na talagang talagang gusto kaming idiin doon sa kaso at talagang this is a political harassment. At nakita ko naman kung sino yung abogado nila or kasama nila, kaya tingin natin ito ay part pa rin ng tuloy-tuloy na political persecution and harassment po sa akin at sa iba nating mga kasama.
Oo. So yung sinabi niyo abogado nila, just for the record, so yung abogado po ng grupong nag-file against you is Attorney Torion, who's also the legal counsel of the Kingdom of Jesus Christ leader, Apollo Kibuloy. But I think moving forward with the ethics case, what is the status right now in the lower house?
Well, it was received by the Secretary General, and I heard last night that it was forwarded to the chairman of the ethics committee. So the chairman of the ethics committee haven't read yet the complaint.